Well, it's wonderful to meet you. Thank you so much for taking a minute out for the show today.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. Absolutely.
Me too. So let's begin our journey with this. 6 years ago, this pandemic was changing everybody, changing the world. How did you get through that era, and how has it changed the way that you work and live today?
Sure. At the time, I had a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old. Anybody who's had a 3-year-old knows it's not necessarily the terrible twos you need to worry about. It's those tough threes.
Yeah.
So we had to be creative and thoughtful on how we spent our days and how we balanced our time. We have grandparents nearby, but we didn't want to be around them in case, everything was so scary and up in the air. So we were in our little bubble of family of four. Um, so I think it made me appreciate a little bit more the life we live and the lifestyle we have and the ability to be flexible and work and life and adaptable and resilient. I think all of those things for us came out of it because it wasn't easy. It was tough,
Yeah.
trying to work. And I had my 7-year-old was trying to do virtual school, and my 3-year-old was everywhere and into everything. He found a love for balloons, and so we bought helium tanks on repeat and would just fill up helium tanks of balloons so he had something to play with, and
Yeah.
it was a very interesting time.
That is interesting. And I thought at that time there might have been a helium shortage, but was there ever?
Not for us.
Okay, good. You
Maybe
were fine.
because of us,
Right.
probably.
That's where it came from. I love it.
Uh,
So let's get into the work that you do. There's so many aspects to what you're doing, but to boil it down, I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of 13-year-olds. It's career day, and they want to know what you do for a living. How do you synthesize your day job to make sense to their brains?
yes. So I will say the people that I work with are extremely smart people and they are talented people. They were nurses that are really strong nurses and moved into leadership. They were plumbers who were really strong plumbers and said, I'm going to own my own plumbing company. Um, so they know their trade or their skill or their business or their product, whatever that might be, but they don't necessarily know the business side of things and how to grow their company and how to live in a state where they're not putting out fires and things are falling apart. They are living in a place where they can forward think and plan for the future. And so I help them funnel their all of their thoughts and ideas into a place where they can really think and move forward and grow their business and become very successful. So that's what I do in part of my world. My other part of my world is I write. I'm a writer. So I wrote a Christmas book that came out last November,
Hmm?
which was extremely fun. It's like a Hallmark movie and about a husband and wife who getting a little argument over Thanksgiving because she's ready to plan for Christmas and he's wants to relax and watch football and he's like, we have a month. And so they make a handshake deal that he's going to take over all of her Christmas responsibilities and she's going to take over his. So it's funny. They get themselves in messes they've got to get themselves out of. They try to keep their pride intact along the way. And it's a very fun, sweet story that I loved building this family and building these characters. So that's another part of my world. I write for magazines and blogs, and my book came out in November. So I live in the writing space and have a blast doing it.
That's awesome. So it's almost a hybrid of the Freaky Friday concept. Like, be careful what position in life you want because we just don't know until we walk in someone's shoes.
Exactly, exactly. And I
Yeah.
hadn't seen it. I've seen the body switch like Freaky
Yeah, yeah,
Friday
yeah.
before,
Yeah.
and I've seen the twins switch places where you have like, siblings that are twins, and then they say, well, you go live my life and I'll go live yours because nobody will know. We look exactly alike. Seen that switch, but I hadn't seen this husband and wife dynamic that's like, uh-huh,
Right.
let's see if you can do what I do. Like,
Uh-huh.
hadn't really seen that
Yeah.
before. And it's probably out there. There's so many stories out there, but it was really fun
That's
creating this
great.
dynamic.
Well, we just were on the heels in Kansas City of having our Hallmark moment. That Chiefs story was filmed here.
Yes.
And it was weird because when they filmed it, it was in August and the whole thing was in winter. And I think I heard when they filmed it, they had to wear hats and gloves and it was like 90 degrees outside. So it was kind of a weird. But anyways, that thing took off and it was a huge deal. So
It's
yeah,
yes.
yeah. But plus
There's
Hallmark,
definitely.
Yeah, Hallmark
Like,
is from Kansas City, so that's it. So it makes sense.
yes,
Um,
it is definitely an audience for the story that it's going to end wrapped up in a bow and going to make you happy and make you smile and make you feel good when at the end of it. There's definitely an audience for that.
My wife got into a phase of that for a while. She was like, I can't take the headlines. I can't take the
Hmm.
news. I need something because I was like, what's going on here? I'm seeing a lot when I pull up the Fire Stick. I'm like, why are these all Hallmark movies up here? Because I know it's not coming from me. She's like, oh
Right.
no, I have to detox. And it's like, that's it. Sometimes you do. You have to either get the Hallmark or animal shows or something because it's heavy
Something
right now.
funny. I
You know?
totally agree. And I'm all over the place. I'm gonna watch a psychological thriller one day and I'll watch a Hallmark movie the next
Uh-huh.
day. I love it all. I love storytelling.
Yeah,
I started my career in TV and film and just truly fell in love with the power of a story and emotions. And so I watch it all. I watch all genres. So just because I write lighthearted
sure.
rom-commy, I enjoy reading and watching everything.
So are you from Florida originally?
I'm not. I'm from New Orleans.
Okay, so take me to your beginnings and what did you want to be when you were a kid? Was it always going to be in entertainment?
No, I wanted to own a dance studio.
Okay, okay.
Yes, so I grew up a dancer. So at the age of 2, my mom put me in dance class because she's not a strong dancer and she never took any kind of dance classes or theater and she wanted to give me that experience. So at 2 years old, I had tap shoes and ballet shoes and started that phase of my life and fell in love with dance and never stopped. So
Wow.
I danced all through school, high school and college, but I also danced. I taught at the dance studio that I had gone to my entire life when I was in high school and college, and took college classes in dance and really just loved the art of dance. Still to this day, I do a little dance. But Pensacola also celebrates Mardi Gras, and we have where the Mardi Gras crews do a big dance competition,
Yeah,
which is I know silly and funny and hard to explain, but I help choreograph some of the dances. Still to this day, that's a hobby
awesome.
that I love. But that was what I wanted to be when I grew up was own a dance studio and be a dance teacher.
So the other part of my life is being a jazz radio host, and anybody that's from New Orleans, there's an infectious way that culture and music infuses every part of who you are, and
Every
I'm
part.
sure it's inescapable. How much of that New Orleans blood still courses through your veins and is a part of your everyday life?
Oh, it's so much. I lived there until Hurricane Katrina.
Okay.
So I was about 23 or so when Katrina hit.
Yeah.
So majority of my, childhood and everything I knew, the culture I knew, all stems from New Orleans. I got married in New Orleans, and our first dance was to Louis Armstrong, "A Kiss to Build a Dream On." We embraced all of the culture and had tons of people fly in who had never been a part of it. It was so special to introduce people to the culture of New Orleans. But at the music, Jackson Square, where you walk and see the artists and you see the tap dancers and you see the live musicians playing on the streets. It's just an experience. If you haven't been there, it's an experience you need to be a part of.
So we were going to go on our honeymoon in 2019 and there was a hurricane brewing. Literally everything was planned, right? And it's like it's the nature of things. So it's like everything I still remember that phone call. She was like, we got to pivot." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" It's like there's a hurricane brewing. And I'm like, "Oh no." Because it was a bit, but we went to Colorado, went to Manitou Springs. It all worked out. It was the Bob Ross happy accident honeymoon.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're going to rain check it, no pun intended, to get back down because it needs to happen. I mean, I hear everybody in America has to experience New Orleans at some point
You
to get
have
the full,
to.
you know?
You really have to. And
Yeah.
almost feel like you need to do a couple of times with you and your jazz fest or French Quarter Fest. Those are two different festivals that are typically back to back. Jazz Fest just ended last weekend, and um, French Quarter Fest is all local artists, and there's stages and bands all over the city, and you can just walk to different areas and have free concerts, and it's incredible. Jazz Fest is a little bit different, where it's kind of more um, larger acts and artists and people that fly in and come in town and perform, but you still get the local artists and with a mix of other large, big artists. And it's, a ticketed event and a little bit different vibe, but they're both incredible
Yeah.
festivals.
Yep.
But then there's also that just being there on a weekend when there's not a big festival going on and walking the streets and experience the culture and the life. Everything in New Orleans is art. The food is art.
Yep.
The atmosphere is art and the creativity. I mean, you go to a Saints game and the music that's playing and the arts that happen and the
Uh-huh.
people that are dancing. I mean, it's just a vibe. It's so cool. So cool.
Anytime musicians from New Orleans have come to town, they've always done that processional through the crowd. John Batiste kicked off his tour last year in Kansas City.
I
He
love him.
is
Love
right.
him. Yeah.
So he, at the end, it was the first show on his tour. All of a sudden he comes around and he's up in the balcony, and it's the where was that at? It was one of our old, really ornate halls, and he came up and he walked through and he came by everybody, and it was just that thing. Squirrel Nut Zippers did it too. They did it right the night before our first Super Bowl. They were talking about, having that New Orleans connection, but they came through the crowd and did that whole processional. So it's so
Yes.
cool. So
The
cool.
second line is, I mean,
Yeah.
you get you an umbrella, get you
Uh-huh.
a napkin.
Yep.
It's so fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So give me an idea of the one thing, and I'm going to bring in the music jazz reference. Miles Davis said at one point it took him years and years to find his voice. And I remember hearing that quote thinking, you're playing this instrument, you're a legend, but it's the same thing for all of us professionals that are trying to find our way. Sometimes it takes a
Mhm.
little while to know that you want to write or to know that this is your career choice. Give me an idea, a snapshot of your career that led up to you finding your true vocation and your true calling right now.
Sure. So I briefly shared that I started in TV and film.
Yeah.
So truly what happened, I was in college, I was a business major, and that lasted about one semester. And I thought, I don't want to study this for the next, I wanted something creative, and I just felt this wasn't it. This wasn't where I wanted to be right now. Um, So I started flipping through, I'm going to age myself, flipping through the course catalog. It was like a physical book, right?
Yeah,
And you
I
would
know
like
it.
flip through it. And then I would, I was reading classes, descriptions of classes, and thought, I need to figure out what I'm interested in and what classes sound interesting to me. And I got to the mass communication classes, so journalism, film history, film, video editing, radio. I got to those classes and just gravitated to that and went, that sounds fun. I want to take that one. I want to take that one. I want to take that one. Like, okay, I think I figured it out. So jumped into mass communications, and ended up working for the radio station as a DJ and working for the TV station. And we had a group of people we called ourselves the Broadcasting Society,
Yeah.
and found a friend base of people that had similar interests. And none of my friends I had grown up with had these similar interests, right? A lot of them were in school to be a nurse or a teacher, which is great. And we need all of our nurses and teachers and everybody. I didn't have any other friends who had the same interests that I had, and I found those people. Um, and so what happened was the movie Ray was being filmed while I was in college, and they reached out to us at the Broadcasting Society and said, "Hey, we're going to be filming some scenes at your college. We just need some extra hands on set. We need help with extras, extra casting, extras, because we're going to have a lot of extras filling up stadiums where, Ray's going to be playing and those kinds of things." And I mean, it was like, yes, can I get there? Can I come tomorrow? I was
Yeah.
so excited to be a part of a true film set, and loved it, met wonderful people. So then when I graduated, I reached out to the casting department and that I had worked with and said, "Hey, I've graduated. I don't know if you remember me. But I'd really, if you have any work or anything, I'd love to work with you guys again." And I didn't hear back right away, but about 6 to 8 months later, I got a call from them and they said, "Hey, we're working on a Jerry Bruckheimer movie called Glory Road, and it's a basketball movie,
Yeah.
and they're filming in New Orleans and Baton Rouge, and we're gonna need tons of extras. Would you want to be an extras casting assistant?" And I jumped on it. And that was truly the moment. I remember we were filming a basketball scene at LSU, and there were tons of people. It was one of the big scenes, basketball scenes, and so we had the stadium full of people. We had, and I was sitting kind of behind where like the director and the producer were. And I was watching the actors and watching them take their notes and watching the whole thing, play out, thinking, I never want to forget this moment for the rest of my life. It was such a special moment and that was, I think, the moment where I thought I want to be a part of storytelling
Yeah.
as long as I can. And then I did that for, I did TV and film for multiple years. And then when I moved to the Florida area, to Pensacola area, there wasn't a lot of TV and film in this area.
Yeah.
And I had to kind of course correct and redirect my career. So I did. I redirected my career, did, went into the leadership development and all of that we originally talked about. But I always had a pull to continue to go back to the creative storytelling. So I got to a place where I would just submit articles for fun to magazines or blogs, and then one or two of them got published. And so that was, and it kind of was just like a little hobby I did when I had some time.
Yeah.
And then I got a regular stint for a blog that, every month they were expecting an article from me. And so that was kind of cool. And then it's the same thing with a magazine. I started to get kind of some regular work with a magazine, and it really was just because it was fun. It was
Yeah.
just fun. And so a few years back, I said, you know what? I think I really want to write a book, even if no one else ever reads it. If it's just me,
Yeah.
I want to do it. I want to write a book and kind of put my heart into it um, and leaned into making that dream happen. And so now I'm working on another one and getting the audiobook out for the first one and going down this fun creative writing path that I love, but I really truly feel like it stemmed from the the beginnings in TV and film and being a part of things that made people cry or laugh or
Yeah.
sad. And I sit in a movie theater and go, man, I'm a part of something
Yeah.
that's gonna affect people or bring emotions or whatever it may be. It was just that was the beginning of it all.
Right on. So when you wrote your book and you actually got it and they sent you the box and you had it in
Yes.
your hand, what was that emotion like?
Giggles. I just giggled.
Right.
I had, well, I had one that was a one cent, so it wasn't like the full box. It was just one, and so I went
Yeah.
to the mailbox, and my husband went, and he was filming me, watching me open the book,
Nice.
and I just had no words other than laughter and happiness, and um, I was proud of myself, and
Yeah.
so and I'm not ashamed to say, like, I was proud of what I accomplished and what I
Sure.
did, and I was proud of what I put out there because I was really. I think I did a nice job with it. And then my kids were proud of me. I mean, when they saw that cover and my mom's name was on it, that was a really cool feeling too, for them
Yeah.
to see me achieve that goal.
For sure. You know, what's interesting, you bring up, I was a communications major at the University of Missouri, Kansas City, and it was in the mid 90s. And at that point, the mentality was you're going to have this big conglomerate or some big, huge media group hire you. But in this
Hmm.
new era of new media, you can branch out, you can release your own thing. The egalitarianism is going to chime in if you're good. People are going to tune
Right.
in if you're not. So you don't have to have the
Right.
sponsors, you don't have to have the corporate logo. You can do it. Have you found that as you've gotten older and down this road of what you originally set out to in school, that it's been more refreshing to see all these versions of new media come out and that you can help people get their voices out there easier?
I love it. I love it. I truly went into mass communications going, I don't know if I'm ever going to get a job, right?
Right.
Like I started that journey going, this is fun and I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to take some cool classes, but what am I going to do with this and how am I going to get a job, a real job? Um, so it is really cool to see just entertainment in general expand, whether it's
Yep.
music or film or writing or, whatever it may be, but that those creative avenues having so many places that you can land or
Mhm.
explore or switch gears. I worked in reality TV for a while, for a few
Yeah.
years, and you're never stuck. I never feel like you're stuck
Right.
in one bubble, and now you've got all of these options, and it is really cool to see.
I mean, even with podcasting, like now it's an official category for awards. It's in
Yes,
popular culture all the time. I mean, I've been doing my jazz series for 15 years now. And when I was doing it, it was kind of this like, what is podcasting? How do you define it? Or what are you really doing? What does it mean? It's like now it's like it's implicit. Like people just know how this works and it's becoming a part
right.
of our daily media diet. So that,
I love it. I
yeah,
love hopping on. I love talking to people. I love hearing other people's
I
stories.
know.
I always learn something, even whatever the whatever the genre of that podcast is, whether it's just comedy and fun or something a little bit more serious, I always learn something and walk away with like
Exactly.
some kind of cool new nugget of info. And it is, I love it. I love it. I think it's a great media outlet that we have now.
In this contentious world of all of these things that are making things more stressful, especially in America, to have this kind of this level of civil discourse, unicorns and rainbows do exist in the world of podcasting. There is this idea
Yes.
that we are actually sane. We are actually doing this as human beings, and humanity is in a good place. I think this is kind of the antidote to what we get fed by major networks, ironically.
I agree. And also you think about, we keep hearing, kids are not going to have any social skills because they're, communicate through a phone. They don't have to call somebody and the mom picks up and you have to say, may I please speak with, Joe. Like they don't have to
Yeah.
do that. They don't have to have this, conversations. And so there's, a lot of people are saying like, they're not going to know how to communicate. But I'm like, this is showing, like kids are listening to
Yeah.
podcasts and watching podcasts or seeing
Mhm.
them on YouTube. And this is showing them and teaching them how you interact
Exactly.
as human beings,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it is. So let me ask you this. In all of the years of dabbling in journalism and film and TV and all these different people and personalities, if you could interview one person today, who would you love to interview and pick their brain?
This is an incredible question. Let's see. One person.
And I would say a
I
ghost, but I think if we put it out in the universe, let's just manifest it. Let's
Let's
make
just
it
make
happen.
it happen.
Yes.
Um, I feel like this is going to be a very typical answer for someone my age, but I'm saying it because I feel like I've grown up with this person and she's felt like a big sister, even though she's a celebrity or an actress. But there's something about Jennifer Aniston that is
Mhm.
so relatable.
Yeah.
She feels like if there'd be a comfort of just having a cool conversation
Yep.
around her career and what
Yep.
she's done in her life. And while I'm not necessarily an actress, I think there's something to be that can be shared across various entertainment genres and themes that I don't think I'd be I mean, I'd probably be a little nervous, but I think it would just be a fun,
Yeah.
relaxing conversation around the career she's built and the
Yeah.
person she is and the decisions she's made to get her where she is. And so she would be one that, I mean, I'm sure I have a list of a bunch that I would love to interview, but
Yeah.
she's the first one that came top of mind.
Yeah, that's it. So, who's been your inspirational force in your life and your career and what you're doing?
Um, I will say, I mean, obviously my family, my parents are, when I left, when Hurricane Katrina hit, we had evacuated with 3 days worth of clothes to Arkansas because we thought we would be back returning in a few days.
Wow.
And then obviously that didn't happen. But we were at a hotel in Arkansas and I got a phone call from someone I had worked with, and then who lived in LA, and she just called to see if we were okay. And I was explaining the situation and she said, just come to LA. Just come to LA. There's not going to be any work for you in New Orleans. Just come to LA. So I went back up to the hotel room and told my parents I'm moving to LA. And so they're dealing with our entire city falling apart, and I'm an only child, so now their only child is saying, and I'm going to move to Los Angeles. So I went from Arkansas to I didn't even go home. Went from Arkansas to Los Angeles with 3 days worth of clothes and had no idea where I was going to live, going to a Red Cross shelter to say, hey, I need some help. I'm, from Hurricane Katrina, which was very humbling. And you never think you're going to be on that side of that. But my parents said, go. My parents said, go. And I love that. I love that they've never held me back. And all of these exciting things I want to do, or places I want to move, or things I want to try, they have been behind me every step of the way. So that has given me a lot of that I looked up to them and the way they parented me. So now I try to parent in the same way to really push my kids into not push my kids, but never hold them back from things that they want to do or try.
Yeah.
And so that I would say them for sure. And then also the people that I see that kind of always had, I wish I would have, that pushes me to do what I want to do. I don't want to be that I wish I would have. So I want to do the things that bring me joy and excite me and try something new. And if it fails, that's okay. I'm going to try something else.
Yeah.
Um,
S-
so
So let's say you have a dream tonight. You run into the 18-year-old version of you, or maybe that version before you go to LA. and you have a film projector in the room and you go up and hit play and it's a 60-second highlight reel of the life you've lived. Would that young version of you believe your life turned out this way?
Not at all. Not at all. At 18 years old, I was still, I was from a smaller town right outside New Orleans, and I never thought I would leave. My family had never left. My aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, everyone was all still there. So
Yeah.
there was never a thought that I would leave that town at 18 years old. It was, I'm going to go to college. At the time, I thought I was going to be a business major, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to find a job in an office somewhere. Maybe I'll be a secretary. Maybe I'll be I don't know what I'm going to do. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But that was my mindset at 18, was that was what my life was going to look like moving forward. And then obviously, as we've shared, it all got shook up and did not happen that way. But at 18, if I would have pressed play and listened to this podcast, I would have I would have said, no way. That's not you.
Not going to happen. So
Not gonna
beyond your
happen.
family, when you look back on your life in the big rearview mirror, what are you the happiest about? What are you the proudest of?
Taking chances.
Yeah,
I mean, the ability to just at 23 years old move to Los Angeles by myself with nothing, the ability to try new things. And I left I was with a large consulting firm for over 10 years, and 2 years ago I left to write my book or finish my book. I already started it, but to finish it. And so I left a big girl job with all the bells and whistles, with nothing, with no plan and nothing in mind, because that's what felt like the next right step for me. And so I think my ability to take risk and take chances, I'm really proud that I'm able to do that.
yeah. So, Kate, at the end of the day, everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, everyone that gets your book, everyone that knows you in all these different lights, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think like a duck. I think from above the water, I probably appear cool, calm, and collected, and she's got it all together. And underneath the water, I'm like, my head's spinning in a million directions, and that's okay. I have my moments where I'm gliding through life, and then I have moments where my legs are just kicking and I'm all over the place. Um, but I think it makes it exciting, and I always get back to a place where I'm gliding again and can always come out of it. So I say I'm resilient,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
See myself as resilient.
I always remember there was a morning guy in Kansas City for a while. He was national, but his name was Mancow. And they have these little trivia things. And they were like, the only sound on earth that doesn't echo is a duck quack. And I was like, that's weird. So there
That
you
is
go.
weird.
It adds to the allure and the mysticism of the duck. It doesn't echo, which is great.
And to right. Right.
Somehow,
So
through the evolutionary Darwinian somehow the echo probably saved legions of ducks. Somehow. So.
probably so.
So if anybody wants to get the book, if they want to hire you, they want to find their true purpose, all of the good stuff, where do they go? How do they hire you? How do they reach out and get the book?
Sure. So my website's the best place, because then it can take you to my social media and take you to a link to purchase the book. But it's kate-hendrickson.com. And I have a blog there. And so if you just want to even follow along with my structured chaos of writing and consulting and family, I would love for you to just follow along, because
Right on.
it's fun and I put it all out there. But yes, and would love to work with people. So kate-hendrickson.com is the place
Okay.
to find me. And can't wait. Meet new
Excellent.
people.
I will put those links in the show notes. Kate, this has been great. Thank you so much for your story. Thank you for your time. Best of luck with everything.
It was great to meet you, Joe. Thank you so much.
Great to meet you.